All right, I'm LQ. This is the LQ review coming to you from the front seat of my car. That's right. I got behind on some things that were work related this week, and I did get to watch Doom Patrol episode 3. Puppet Patrol, but I haven't been able to do the review of it yet, and I just thought that, you know what, I've got a couple minutes right now between a couple work things, and I thought I'd just knock it out before I go into my next work-related meeting. So let's talk about Doom Patrol Episode 3, Donkey Patrol. Or not Donkey Patrol, Puppet Patrol. We're going to go over the good, we're going to go over the bad, and then we're going to give the rating. I have 3 ratings. I have smiley face, meaning I liked it. I have meh face, meaning it was okay. And I have sad face, meaning I didn't like it. So let's talk about this. The good. The good was definitely Negative Man. They got into Negative Man's background a lot more, really got a much greater sense of who Negative Man is. They did a fantastic job with this character in this episode. They went back to his time before he became Negative Man as a pilot. They got into his conflict, the reasons why he sees himself as a monster, his personal conflict between his wife, his family, his kids, and the fact that he's hiding a secret relationship with a man. And they really got into that aspect of the character, which I thought was really interesting. Also really good in this episode was Crazy Jane. Now, I'm on record saying that I don't love the Crazy Jane character. Crazy Jane was great in this episode. Her power set was great. Her attitude was great. Her acting was great. The actress who plays her, fantastic. Crazy Jane and Negative Man, the two of them carried this episode. It was fantastic. Also, I gotta say, he wasn't in it much this episode, but I still really like Robot Man. He had a great action sequence toward the end. It was a little too gory for my liking for a DC property, not Disney, but for a DC property, it was still a little too gory for my liking. He got very, very violent with some Nazi bad guys, but overall, man, I love Robot Man. He's been my favorite character in this show so far. Yeah, this was a really strong episode that saw the Doom Patrol finally engage their first bad guys. Now, it wasn't the whole Doom Patrol. It was Crazy Jane, Negative Man, and Robot Man. But they got to finally engage some bad guys. It was great. The bad. I'm still not a fan of this version of Cyborg. And I know a lot of you are. But I'm not. He just seems a little too cheap for me. The costume is a little cheap. The acting is a little, and I hope this turns around. I hope Cyborg ends up getting a bigger role in this series and that they give him a lot more to do. But right now, I'm just not a huge fan of Cyborg. Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody wasn't even in this episode. Maybe barely. Mr. Nobody, the primary antagonist, has nothing to do. Now, they did have some interesting antagonists in the show, in the form of what's essentially a mad scientist and some Nazi bad guys that were very entertaining, and it was very well done. But Mr. Nobody is still a no-show. So those are kind of the bad things. Rita Farr, Elastigirl, I still love this character. She was pretty much a no-show in this episode. She was in it, but not much. The Chief is still a no-show. Now, the Chief is the primary. The Chief is kind of the MacGuffin of this show so far. They're trying to save the Chief. But when you cast a big actor like Timothy Dalton, you want to see him in the show, and he just hasn't been in the show. So that's been disappointing. But overall, man, Doom Patrol is a win. Doom Patrol is a win. If you're not watching Doom Patrol, subscribe to DC Universe. It's only $7.99 a month, and watch Doom Patrol. And while you're at it, catch up on Titans. Titans was really good as well. But yeah, this is a smiley face emoji. This show is great. And so far, the good far outweighs any bad. So, Doom Patrol, Episode 3, Puppet Patrol, smiley face emoji. I really liked it. Check it out. I'm LQ. This is the LQ review. Sorry for the abbreviated review, but I wanted to make sure I got it online before we got too far removed from the episode. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for joining me so we can talk about all the nerdy, geeky stuff that us nerds and geeks love to talk about.